Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 556 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined by young Stephen Kyle Brackey and Ben Funky Askren. Ben, hello, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well this morning. I'm gonna, I saw some of those FRL questions, Christian, and these guys are dummies. 8.5 minutes, give me a break. It should have been over under 30 seconds to I bring up the debates. They were freaking terrible. And you know what else, Christian? I was supposed to research all of the matches, and I didn't get them all done because I was watching the debates.
That's okay, because tomorrow we're doing the full-on who's number one, preview, predictions, everything. We're going to keep score. We'll wager probably nothing. Score.
Bracky still owes me push-ups.
You'll be here, right? I'll do them in front of you, live in person.
I want you to do them on air.
I'm not doing them on air.
Go live on Instagram.
We'll go live whenever I'm doing them.
Yeah, that'll hit a bunch of people. A lot of people will see that. Yeah, it was not. I don't know. I feel like I watched the debate for the same reason another adult would watch WWE. Just like let's watch it. Let's watch adults be idiots. All right, cool. Let's just do that. It was not I didn't watch it to learn anything or have my mind. It was just pure entertainment. And I don't know. Did it even miss the mark? It might have even missed mark there. Wasn't that? There were some moments, but yeah, not great. Although someone sent the question, an FRL question about, is this how? Do you think you felt how Chris Wallace felt when Biden and Trump would not stop talking over each other from the Burroughs-Dake thing? Yeah. There's like, what? It's like everyone's like, that is actually a funny thing. It's like, oh, Chris Wallace, you could maybe say he did a bad job in terms of, the questions. I don't know about that. But in terms of moderating, what mechanism does he have to make Donald Trump stop talking?
Yeah. He should really have a mute button. That's what we should have. We should legit have a mute button. I think Tyler back there somewhere in the Flow HQ has a mute button for us, I believe. Doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't understand. I guess the idea is that you would just do what you agreed to do and not talk over the other. But at the same time, it's like for Chris Wallace to tell Donald Trump and Joe Biden and not just ask them to be quiet, but somehow make them be quiet. Yeah. It's kind of an unrealistic.
I mean, he probably could have done it a few times, but he probably should have just sat back and listened. Listen, that's what I did when we had Dake and Burroughs on. It's like, I'm not getting these dudes to shut up. And you know what? They're such
You tried, Ben? Ben, there's clips of you saying, you tried several times. You're like, oh, I cut.
Like once when Dake started talking about Burroughs' wife, I'm like, no, Dake, don't do that. No, stop. But besides that, I'm just like, these are two strong-willed alpha individuals. They're going to do what they want. I'm not going to guide the discussion, They're going to do what they want. And that's kind of, how I felt when those two were on. And, we attempted slightly, but most of the time we just sat back and let them go at it. And that's kind of what I think that's what he should have done. He should, all right, just you're not going to listen to him anyway. Just battle. Maybe put some gloves on even. Get it on. Let's go.
Man, if those two did any sort of trial by combat, it would be Kamala versus Mike Pence really quick.
It would. That's so true. It's so true. They're so old. Oh my god.
These are our best and brightest, though. We clearly could do no better than those two. That's for sure. We're not really good. We're not talking. I don't feel like this is talking politics. This is more just like what's happening.
Full politics radio.
Yeah. So okay. Next up.
Wait, we're not going to talk about politics the whole time.
I don't want to talk about politics at all. I think the spectacle of last night is not worth ignoring, but I'm certain that's not why people are tuning in for our thoughts on the debate, right?
You never know. They could be curious to hear what we have to say.
Ben, you lost 400 followers on Twitter last night, I'm told.
That's true. I just told you that before we were on air.
I know.
I lost 400 followers.
I know.
You know what? I thought I was fair and balanced. I kind of crapped on both of them.
That's the point. No one wants. That's the point. It's not about the side you are or aren't taking. It's they don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear it.
Or Or obviously I think I probably have more of a right-wing following than a left-wing following, and they were probably salty that I was actually, what I would say taking a fair and balanced approach and kind of crapping on both sides and acknowledging they both did a relatively poor job.
Yeah, that seemed to be the general. Like 5 minutes after the debate, I hung around and everyone was just like, I think I was on ABC, and everyone was just like, "Oh, this was the worst debate ever."
Ever. It was a disaster.
Very 2020 move to have the Trump's going to blow up any debate from a format standpoint, just with his personality. So yeah, you're not gonna be able to put him in a box, really. Anyway,
sure.
I'm sure you'll get him back, Ben.
Christian, stop talking about politics. Jeez.
I'm trying. Okay. So, hey, Metcalf 2 is out. It's up. You could watch it right now if you
could watch it right now.
Really? So I could just hang up on you guys and go watch that?
Yes, you could, but we will geo-block Wisconsin so you can't watch it.
Watch it on silent at the same time I'm talking to you guys.
It won't be as interesting. I think one of the coolest things about these films when we do them is how often you take what you think about a person and you basically can shift how they're viewed, right? And someone we saw with Terry, and I feel like everyone kind of loved Kerry Collat in the beginning, but Brent, people were like, I thought Brent was such a jerk, and he just, I think people learning a little bit more about him, I think that's one of the powerful things about what the films department do and the storytellers is like they can really change and really show what these people are actually like. It's not the 3 seconds between periods when someone's shoving someone is not real life. That's this very isolated moment, and who they actually are is this, and here's what they're like.
But Brent didn't do himself any service if his goal was to come off as likable in a lot of those interviews. And as someone who's a public figure,
honestly, Ben, I thought every interview he did was amazing. I had some of his.
You mean like in old times? Are you talking like
yes,
dude,
yes. I was
well,
like,
so that okay, but this is what Brent engendered. He engendered you either loved him or you hated him, right? Which is, as a performer, that's what you want. You don't want anyone they're like, I don't really care. Brent had this really strong personality, so you had some people that are like, I freaking love that guy, and he was like a cult hero, right? And then you had a group that said, I freaking hate that guy, and there was both sides, and there was very rarely anyone in the middle. And so now you're seeing all these people who hate him are saying, wow, he's a really nice guy, when it's like, yeah, obviously he was a really nice guy. He just didn't come off all that well in the interviews because that was how he came off.
Man, he talked about that too in episode 2. He's like, he's pretty much says that every interview was like almost trying to like make a statement, or trying to like reinforce what people believe almost. Not saying it's an act or anything, but I
love the third person era too. And Brand's reference
that drove people insane.
He said he would do it in practice. He'd be like, Brent Metcalf's tougher than that. He would say it in practice. I love that.
Oh my gosh.
It was funny to see, Tom Brands talk about that. He was laughing about it too.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I've heard that very specifically referenced. Like, freaking Metcalf just talks about himself. Like they talk in third person. That really specifically would make people so mad.
That was great. I think Tom does it too. Tom will talk in third person.
But so I sometimes wonder, like, obviously there's things I've said to purposely make people mad, and I talk about that. So I wonder how much of Metcalf's thing was like, I want to make people mad, or it was just like, he's just like, this is Iowa, this is what I think, and this is what I'm going to say, and that specifically made people mad. I wonder which one it was, and I haven't watched it yet because you guys just put it out. I don't know if he addresses that in the film.
No. So... No, but one of the interesting things about the Metcalf story is as you learn it, and everyone knows Virginia Tech had to sit a year. But one thing I didn't realize was that Virginia Tech released them to go anywhere with unconditional release. They just didn't want him to go to Iowa. If they went to Iowa, that was the thing. He could have went anywhere else, that's pretty dirty. So they really wanted to punish Tom for leaving.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things where I kind of see it both ways. Obviously, it's the administration being spiteful, but you also, and you don't know what conversations were had between Tom Brand's administration. If they said we want someone here who's for the long haul, and we're going to invest a lot of resources into it, and then he comes and then he's gone in 2 years. When they just invested a whole bunch of resources into him, they would feel burned, and then obviously, then they did something spiteful back, which maybe isn't the most productive thing to do, but you could understand why they may feel that way.
Yeah, for sure.
It was interesting to hear Coach Brantz talk about that because he was like, he was kind of talking in third person. He's like, Tom Brand signed the #1 recruiting class in the country. Like saying like Virginia Tech didn't sign it.
Tom Brand's an Olympic champion.
Yeah, he's like Tom Brand's did that, and he's like these guys want to wrestle for Tom Brand's. So it was.
But that was where it did. But did Tom and the administration? I mean, you guys know what I'm saying here, right? Did he make a commitment to the administration that he was going to be there for so long term? Because if I'm in administration and I'm bringing someone in, that's a question I'm asking. I'm asking, hey, do we got you for 5 years? Do we have you for 10 years? If I'm going to put a lot of resources into you, do I get to keep you? Or are you gone as soon as the first other good job that you want opens up? I mean, isn't that a valid question for an administrator to ask?
Yeah, it's valid. And I think there was a communication breakdown at some point because Tom felt and the guys felt they had the ability, if things changed, to go. And that is not how Virginia Tech felt either at the time or after, or they just Virginia Tech straight up changed their mind and changed their word.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But Tom and Brent have all said all along, we were told if he leaves, which is kind of a weird thing.
That's
it's
weird,
like,
right?
If you're going somewhere, you're not really talking about also when we go here too, right? That is sort of a straight. That doesn't happen much. It's like, I don't know, if you're gonna go wrestle at South Dakota State for Damian Hahn, it's not like, all right, you wrestle here, but also if I go somewhere else, you're allowed to go there too, right? That's probably not a. I don't think that's in the recruiting pitch normally.
That's a totally weird dynamic to have there, and that's something where like I kind of question whether if you were an administrator, would you really put up with that? I mean, if you're a Virginia Tech administrator, are you really going to tell people that? Because that seems kind of crazy to me.
That you're free to go wherever, whenever. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
say that?
You
that
might
so
say,
strange.
I mean, you might what's that one word? Assuage, something like that. That you might assuage the recruits and say, listen, yes, if something happens to Tom Brands, you can go, but you're not telling Tom Brands, hey man, you're free to leave whenever you want. If I'm going to give you all this money and all these resources, I want you here. I'm paying you a lot of money and I'm putting a lot of resources in the program for you to be here and have success here. I don't want you to bring the kids here and then take the kids somewhere else. I mean, let's go even worse, Christian. In that circumstance, what if Tom Brands has another year and brings in another good recruiting class, and now 2 recruiting classes want to leave with Tom Brands?
Yeah, that would be worse.
I mean, that would be worse. So it's like I just feel like that's, I don't know, what I would like to look at it from both perspectives, both the Virginia Tech administration and Tom Brands, and I just have a hard time seeing some of those things as being true.
Yeah, I mean at the time, Virginia Tech has changed so much as a program and probably as an athletic department as well since that time. But it is a weird thing to think of just a school like Virginia Tech be like, yes, please absolutely use this as a stepping stone so you can get to your next joint. Like, why would they say that, right? And they certainly they wouldn't bring Tom. And maybe part of it was, you know what, Tom, get us on the map. Get us and then go, right? Don't.
Yeah.
Maybe in their minds and in Tom Brand's minds at the time, it was like Zaleski's going to get fired at some point, probably in the next 5 to 10 years. And when that happens, I'm going to try to go to Iowa. And that would be an understood thing. And maybe it just got sped up to a point where both Virginia Tech and Tom Brands were surprised that it happened because Zaleski had won an NCAA team title. When's the last time they had won it? Didn't they win?
I'm gonna look. I think it was only like 2 years.
2 years
or
so.
Long.
2 or 3 years ago, they had won NCAAs, and obviously the standard is at Iowa is different. But
let's see. Okay. So he got fired. Dang, why is this? He got fired in 2006 after they took 4th place. They were 2nd place in 2004. So does that mean they won in two? No, they didn't win because Oklahoma State won 2003, 4, 5, and 6. Correct?
They won 4 in a row.
That's correct. 4 in a row. So that means they won in 2002. So it was 4 years since they had won. Sounds about right.
I'm looking.
They were NCAA champions so Zaleski was only there for 8 years. They won 3 NCAA. Oh no, so it was 6 years because he only won 98, 99, and 2000. That was the only years he won.
Oh, okay. So it was a little longer. Either way.
Yeah.
Either way, I think the timeline was not what either of them expected.
Correct. Yeah.
If Coach Brands knew that Iowa was going to open up within a year of him going there, I just don't see him. Yeah, he probably wouldn't have left, right? Or he probably would have just hung around there. But obviously, you don't know how things are going to happen. So it's unfortunate, but it makes for a pretty interesting drama. And I think Metcalf's, and these are his words, but I think his perspective about it was a lot better than you would expect someone like Brent Metcalf to have about losing a year when wrestling is that important to someone. He's like, I made the decision and never look back, right? I think that's pretty admirable, and it's also surprising that that's something that doesn't perpetually eat at him, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it eats at it, and his parents aren't in the documentary, but there's a comment about from Brent's mom that they should have arrested him as a true freshman, and you can tell Tom is still really heated or upset about the decision from Virginia Tech, right? Feels like Brent has the most peace about it of anyone, which is, sometimes that's just how it goes.
Yeah. I feel like when you're the guy who's in the moment and you realize that you can't control it, sometimes it bothers you less than others. And so I feel like Brent is. I haven't watched his piece yet, obviously, but I've heard him talk about other times. It feels like he is at peace with it, and he did what he could do. He had 3 years. He went 1-2-1, and he had a great career. If he's at first year, there's definitely a chance he could have won it in what year was that? 2007, for sure.
Yes, yeah, 2007.
Yeah.
That was the year Schlater or
no, Schlater lost that year. Schlater won 2006. Gillespie won 2007.
Yeah.
Right?
Gillespie Trella final.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey, let's show the first. We got the first minute of Metcalf queued up here. Check it out.
After a season of turmoil, the Iowa wrestling
is that messed up, Tyler? That's not really
messed up
what
for
it's
me.
like, guys. Yeah, that's the half speed. I
Or
don't know
is
what's up with that. That's not what it's like on the. So a new little thing to get people to watch longer. We just slow everything down to half speed. So I'm not sure what happened with that. Maybe we'll get it. Maybe we won't. Yeah, it's messing up. That's strange. Yeah, I don't know what's up. All right. Well, no first minute, but you can go on the site. Don't go now. Geez, we're in the middle of the show, but you could go and check it out. It's good. Some old school news stuff. Okay. Where to next, Ben? We think David Bray believes he stumbled upon a loophole that's going to be utilized at senior nationals.
Uh-oh. What's that?
So, you know how if you place top 8 at senior nationals, you can get an Olympic red shirt, right?
So is that the case with this senior nationals also?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
So, if you saw there was a tournament with one person entered, and you entered that, it'd be pretty easy to get top 8, right? Theoretically.
Sure. I think even Kyle Brecky could do that.
Brecky could get an Olympic red shirt. So AJ Neville's was registered at freestyle. Now he's registered at Greco for senior nationals.
AJ Neville's is the Fresno State or the Penn State?
He's
Fresno.
Fresno. Okay. Got it.
Which currently, how many does that heavyweight have? Stephen Kyle.
I don't know. There are more. I know this though. There are more wrestlers in.
There's only 4.
There's more wrestlers in the men's freestyle 65 kilogram weight class and 74 kilogram weight class than there are in the entire women's freestyle field and the entire Greco-Roman field.
So one weight
So
of men's freestyle has more than all
two weights in men's freestyle.
Yeah, two different weights.
Yeah.
So hold on. So have they made the decision to not show up or something? Like, what's the deal?
They're not entering. Maybe that's why the allowance got introduced. I don't know. But the point being, people are going to maybe look at Greco as like, hey, man, top 8? A lot of these brackets might not even have 8. So automatically I will get an Olympic red shirt. So we'll see if anyone else registers. But I'm not familiar with AJ Neville's Greco experience. But he was not initially entered at Greco. He was just in freestyle, I believe. And then, poof, he's in both. So I like it. Smart thinking, and curious if we'll see more of that.
Christian, is this something where like the U.S. Army team or something, right? They usually have a big Greco contingent. Is that something where they'll be registering like the last day and they'll fill up the brackets? I know that in some of the U.S. Opens I've seen in the past, there have been as low as like 10 people in a senior level Greco bracket.
Yeah, there are maybe some clubs still yet to register, but I don't expect a large rush of registrations at this point.
Wow.
That would surprise me. So interesting. We'll see if any more entries like that. We've been monitoring, as predicted by Ben Funky Askren, the Panther train would be headed to Coralville.
Baby.
Askren Wrestling Academy's own Parker Kaizen has registered, as well as Taylor Lujan and Drew Foster. They're just going to all go the same weight, which I think is pretty funny.
So is there other guys from Northern Iowa that registered also? Just only those 3.
Just those 3
people at 86 kilograms. No other weight classes.
Exactly. And what a weight to enter! My gosh.
Wait, are you serious?
Those are the only 3 entries from Panther.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Who else is wrestling senior level at UNI?
Well, but again, if you're right up the road, you go get matches like, I don't know, Michael Blockus, right? You can throw some guys in there.
Our guy from Austin. What's his name?
Jack Sklarczyk.
Jack Sklarczyk, yeah. Well, I would imagine someone like Jack or Blockus would go to juniors or U23s. You think they should do it all? Maybe you're right.
I think they should do it both. They're going to get a maximum of 10 to 12 matches. Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, perhaps so. Maybe that's what we see. But yeah, Panther train all aboard. And 86 the toughest weight? I thought it was yesterday, and now it's even crazier.
Those 3 made it tougher too.
So you've got NCAA champion Miles Martin, 2-time champ Gabe Dean, NCAA champion Drew Foster, Max Dean, NCAA finalist, David McFadden, Hunter Boland, Trent Hidley, Taylor Lujan, could have been NCAA champion this year, Rocky Elam, Parker Kekheisen. That is very, very, very good. And that's how many legit dudes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Solid bracket.
Yeah, very solid bracket.
More.
And yeah,
there'll be more, I bet.
The men's freestyle entries are picking up. They had Jack Mueller late last night.
Nice.
57. Yep. Missouri guys are in the fray. Zach Elam, Rocky Elam, Jarrett JQs. You had Iowa State enter with Ian Parker, Austin Gomez, David Carr. So it's picking up with men's freestyle.
Yeah, Austin Gomez.
Who's the best guy? Where do you guys think David Carr sits in the 74 kg field?
Man, so he's really good at freestyle. I think Deacon is probably the favorite, in my opinion, to win 74 here. Deacon, Hidley. Then I think we enter a tier with Valencia, David Carr, and Wick. Now, I think Carr may have the freestyle savvy to go with the Hidleys and the Deacons, maybe.
Hey, Christian, can you read that list to me? I don't have the list in front of me. Can you read it to me one more time?
Yeah, and also the link's in the doc, but I'll read it.
It is? Okay, hold on. Let's go to the doc then. I got you.
Yep.
Nice.
So we got Valencia, Deacon, Evan Wick, Hayden Hidley, Joey LaValle, David Carr, Colin Purinton, Patty Gallagher, Jake Hughes.
Wait, why would you not put Wick in the? You said he was in the second rung of athletes, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, he took fourth at the U.S. Open in Dallas last year.
I know that was a really good performance. I don't know. Yeah, he could go with those. I think if I'm picking, I think Hidley and
I would think
Deacon
Evan's gonna have some size advantage on those guys too, because those guys are both usually 70 kg guys, and
Ryan Deacon's the world's biggest person.
Yeah,
he's bigger than Andrew Howe. It's all fake. He's never had a real weigh-in. I don't understand it. So factor that in. He's huge. He's gonna be perfectly sized for this.
Who did Evan Wick lose to for third place? I'm blanking because he beat Nazar in the Conti semi to go. I feel like it was Gant beat Valencia then, right? Yeah.
Gant beat Valencia. He put him.
He tried to kill him multiple times.
He tried to physically harm him, not just beat him.
And Zeke Jones was not trying to catch his man. He just let his man get slammed right there.
He's not trying to die too.
Zeke's not he's not gonna be able to catch 300 pounds of heat coming at him. So it was a forfeit.
Yeah, he didn't even wrestle Gant.
Yeah, he didn't wrestle, but he beat.
That's why.
So he beat Nazar, that's a really good win. He beat Joey LaValle. Yeah. That's a really good win. Soufflon and Quentin. Oh wait, who's his other win? For Evan Wick. These are Evan Wick's matches.
Yeah, he lost again on the front side 10-4 though.
Yeah.
Becker.
Yeah, that was okay. They beat Becker. They were training partners.
That's interesting. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe I'm wrong. He should probably be in the in the tier 1 group.
Tier 1, at least tier 1.
Tier 1 imports. Okay.
I loved it in the fall. I don't know if you guys are gonna do this segment again when you guys did the tiers. I think you made Spay do them last year, and then you guys would tear them apart. It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Eric Barone.
Eric Barone.
He had him like tier 1 or tier 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the beginning of the end of the tier discussion, as I recall. We should do it.
That was also what started me just ranting about Joey Gunther.
That was a start. I feel like Gunther goes back years.
Well, yeah, internally.
I feel like it got the public. I feel like last year or the year prior, you were pretty. Came pretty hard at the Gunther man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Tyler says he's got the video working. We'll see if that's true. If not, I don't know. We'll see. So Metcalf, 1 minute. Here we go.
After a season of turmoil, the Iowa Wrestling Department brings out a new leader.
Let's send it over to DITV's Mike Wolin with the story.
Thanks, Jason. It was an exciting day for the Iowa wrestling program as the worst-kept secret in Iowa history came to fruition. Former Hawk and 3-time national champion Tom Brands was named the new leader of the Iowa wrestling program.
Unite the program. Unite everything. Because when you're talking about domination, because this is Iowa wrestling, when you're talking about domination, that's the idea.
You know, we're Hokies one moment, and then the next moment it's like, hey, guys, I'm leaving. Sorry. It was just assumed, like, hell, like we all came here for you, so if you're leaving, we're going too.
Oh man, just a little tease there for you.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Yes. Please watch. Many of you already have. You found it early. Good job. Okay. Anything? Do you want to talk about anything further for senior nationals? I'm sure next week we'll.
No, I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad the registrations are picking up. That's really nice. Some of these brackets start to look really solid. Some real matches to really get excited about, Christian. I mean, we've had a few of these individual cards over the last 7 months, but this will be like the first tournament. I mean, we will have had a tournament since the Big Ten tournament, which was March 9th or whatever it was.
Yeah. Hard to believe. I'm curious, will we see what will we see fatigue? Will we see what kind of rust it'll look like? My prediction is that it's going to look a lot like what we're used to. I don't think it's going to look all that different. And apparently they're going to have fans at this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have
How
thought?
many?
Thousands.
Thousands and
Thousands?
thousands and thousands
Not
and
hundreds.
thousands.
No, for real, Christian?
Yeah,
How do you know this is gonna be thousands? They're gonna let thousands of people show up to this?
because they were talking about they've sold a bunch of tickets for this thing.
Okay. Wow.
I mean, it's in Iowa,
that's
freaking
cool.
city. This shouldn't be like. It's not a huge shocker. It's not in Madison where no one showed up for the World Team Trials. Ben,
Madison is shut down right now. Listen, I was not in charge of USA Wrestling
Yes,
marketing.
you
If I
were.
would have been in charge of USA Wrestling marketing, I would have had a few more people show up. I got more people show up when I freaking came out of retirement to wrestle effing Clayton Foster than they had damn World Team Trials.
That is true. I look at those pictures of the World Team Trials. It was 14 and 15 were there back-to-back
Yeah.
years.
Mhm.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! Just these bright red empty seats in the background of like.
Not good.
Yeah, so bad. Oh my gosh, I hate it.
So they
Love Madison.
USA
Madison's
Wrestling tweeted on September 24th that 1,200 tickets were left. So they will at least be selling 1,200 tickets.
great. Yes. When did they tweet that?
September
least.
24th, about a week ago.
Okay. So yeah, they're gonna have there's gonna apparently be a bunch of people. Where the restrictions on the floor are very unique. We're not even allowed to interview athletes in the thing.
What do you mean?
Like I can't be like, hey, Gabe Dean, nice wing. Let's do an interview. We've got to can't do it there.
Where do you got to go?
There's no mechanism in the event. There's like a thing if they win. There's a Zoom call thing. But I don't know. I don't understand how that'll work.
They should
We'll
just
just
have
have
a
to get
clear
on a Zoom.
plexiglass. They should have a clear plexiglass booth, like like in the prison
Prison-
booth. I've never been
yeah.
in prison, but the prison booths where you just click the button and you can speak through it.
Yeah, on
they
the
should have
phone.
a couple of those set up. No. There's the one where it's a thing in the middle. Well, there's the ones with the phone, but there's also the one where it's like I don't know, little thing you can talk through right there.
Like a movie ticket taker almost.
Sure, like that. Yeah.
Why don't we just have this at a movie theater and really we'll settle everything?
Boom.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we'll probably just pull guys outside and do it there. Hopefully that's not against the rules. I don't see why it would be. But yeah, it's going to be a little different for us, but we're excited for some tournaments. Okay. Next up, do we want to talk about a couple of who's number one matches? Did you get to watch any
Yes.
of them? Okay.
Well, I'm ready for Vanderveer versus the winner of Mendez versus Williams, which I guess we're kind of going to have to pick a winner to decide who that's going to be. And then I'm ready for Mastro Patty. Those two, I watched those two. I forgot what the last one was, and then it was late, and I went to bed. And then you texted me, but I didn't watch this morning.
Chittum Henson, you got to watch that one. I can't wait for that one. Okay. But yeah, let's start with Vanderveer. He wrestled at your event like a week ago or whenever that was.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. Give your overall thoughts on that, and I guess also maybe if you want to talk about who, maybe don't pick your winner yet. Just say how you think the matchups favor or don't favor Vanderveer.
Well, Vanderveer's really, really good on top. So he's really good on top. That's going to be an issue for both those other guys, I believe. And then the other thing is, with Williams, who has a little higher attack volume, he's really tricky with, he kept trying, we call it Steve or step over, kept trying that. There's a handful of different scrambling techniques he was trying that were pretty tricky. So I could see that being more of an issue with Williams. Mendez, I don't think is going to would attack underneath nearly as much as Williams would if that's the matchup. So that one I would think would be, I don't want to say more boring, right? But it's not going to be as back and forth. It'll be two guys who have good positioning, and Vanderveer will probably be the one attacking more in that match, I would guess. And then it'd be if he can ride Mendez, I would see him getting the win.
Yeah, he likes that call it like that Ironman cradle where you got like the crossbody almost, and you lock up the far side cradle. He's really good with that. What do you think about he hits that like drag where you kind of sit to the corner takedown? It's pretty unorthodox. You don't see it a lot. Do you think that's something he could hit on either of these guys?
Yeah, I think so. Because he's got a really good feel for it. I mean, he just has kind of a good feel for wrestling, and he's pretty powerful, so he's going to definitely be able to do some of those things.
Yeah, I think he matches up better. I think he matches up better against Mendez. He has a folk style win over him. I think in freestyle it'd be a different story, and it was a different story when they wrestled. I feel like Williams is probably a tougher matchup for Van Devere. I don't see him getting in super deep on a double leg. Like that's probably his best leg attack. I think he's gonna have a hard time doing that against Williams. Would he get the drag? Maybe, but you talk about feel for wrestling. I think Williams has a really good feel. But
I like Williams. I would be curious how good he's on bottom, Christian, because I haven't seen him wrestle any high level folk style matches. So, how good's Williams on
watch
bottom?
some of his Super 32. He
okay.
Who's he have? I think he wrestled Dean Peterson at Super 32. Am I remembering correctly? Can't remember. You can find some matches of him high level folk style.
Well, because leg right defense is a very specific thing to be good at. I remember, you know what? Actually, Victor Vojinovich, who we'll probably talk about him tomorrow. Also, he came up to a hammer camp we did. He was young. I want to say a freshman, and so maybe I think Keegan and a few other good guys we had were maybe sophomores then. I think. Wait, yeah, they're 1 year older. Yeah, and dude, he like rode the piss out of everyone in my room, and all my guys, and they're all like, literally after the weekend, they're like, we need to freaking do leg ride defense. And it was something we hadn't done a gigantic amount of to that, it's like early September, right? So we hadn't done a huge amount of it. And it was like, the leg ride defense is very, very specific. If you can't get out against a good guy, your life's going to be freaking miserable. We saw that with Vojinovich last year, who's number one. He was losing the match. He got on top and freaking went to town.
Yeah, he went nuts. Why aren't there more leg riders?
Because for me, it's one of those things. We don't teach a lot of it on top, and really specifically double legs. It's like a high barrier to entry. Like you got to be really, really, really good, or you're going to get reversed to your back a whole lot. And then once you get really, really, really good, then you're kind of a problem, like a Vojinovich or like Joel Van Devere. But until you get to that point, it's going to take a while to get there. You're going to kind of stink, and you're going to get reversed a lot. And for me as a coach, teaching a chop to a cross twist to a roll through tilt and a reinforced bar and a bar, that stuff is like not nearly as risky and it's relatively easy to pick up. And, if you look at the best guys in the NCAA, that's probably what they're scoring the most on. So it's like, well, why don't we just do that? That's a lot more simple than figuring out how to ride double legs. And it's working at the highest level. Spencer Lee, roll through tilts, reinforced bars every single person he wrestles.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that, but when you talk about like guys with bottom wrestling problems, like the number one thing is like a theme is like, hey, he can get away, but he can't get away from leg riders, right?
Yeah.
And when that's a thing, it's like, well, why aren't there more of them, right? And you just explained it, but it would seem like in terms of focus, there's a pretty big payoff at the end of it if you can get really good at it.
But then the other thing, though, Christian, is I think so. Then it's also the same with leg right defense. Guys who on leg right defense, either they stink and they're terrible and they'll never get away from anyone good, or they're really, really good. And I think a great leg right defense guy trumps a great leg right offense guy. So you think like David Taylor was really elite in leg right defense. Yeah. People were not riding him. If they threw a leg in, they were going to get reversed. And you can think of a few other guys who are really elite with leg right defense. So I think at the very highest level, leg right defense trumps leg right offense. So then there's also that barrier once you get all the way up there too.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay, so that's Van Devere, and he'll get the winner of Jesse Mendez versus Jordan Williams. Do you find anything there?
Yeah, it's just some good folks on matches for you. Super 32, he Jordan Williams that has hit Anthony Noto, Dean Peterson, and Maximo Renteria. So there's some good ones for you to watch there, Ben.
Check them out.
Nice. Dude. What kind of advantage do you guys put to the fact that Van Devere will only be wrestling one match and the other guys will be wrestling multiple matches? They'll be wrestling two, obviously. Do you give that any advantage? Is there, was there any idea about making it maybe be a round robin instead of, these guys face this guy?
One, I don't think it's going to be an advantage at all, really. I think these guys are going to come in shape. I think, if anything, it could be a benefit to the third and fourth place guys that get a real match in. I wouldn't be surprised if Van Devere did a legit, match around the time, I think that would be maybe a wise, thing to do. So no, I think I don't see it as a big advantage, and I feel like on the round robin front, that would have been cool, but Vanderveer earned his ranking, right? And I think it makes the most sense. And also, what if you see it all the time? A beats B, B beats C, C beats A. Then if this event is about establishing rankings, and you set yourself up for a very obvious
for failure
tie, I don't understand that. It's just like, no, you're ranked higher. That's why you sit out. You two wrestle.
Sure.
Winner gets a winner. Go get it. Right.
Yeah.
So that just makes sense to me, and I don't see it as a tremendous. I know as wrestling fans, it'd be like, cool, that's one more match. That would be awesome. But at the same time, I don't see it as like this huge advantage, other than the fact that you do get to sit out and you can't lose a match, right? You can only, the worst you can be ranked after this thing is third, which, that's fine. So I think it'd be cool. I'd like to see them all wrestle each other, but I think for what we're trying to do, it makes more sense to not do that. Okay, and then the other match you want to talk about was Paddy Gallagher versus Travis Master Giovanni.
Correct.
Okay.
Hey, I don't, I told you, and I've been open about it, I don't follow the in-season folk style. We don't get to travel in Wisconsin, so the Ohio, Pennsylvania. I watched Gabe Arnold beat Travis Master Giovanni. Why is he not who's number one? Did he probably lost some other matches, I'm guessing?
Dude, I have no idea. That'd be a David Bray
Who
question.
does?
I have no idea.
Oh,
David Bray.
Okay.
Yeah, he would definitely know.
I guess I should have looked up what Gabe is ranked right now. I'll look it up.
Well, he's ranked at the weight above too. He's 170.
Got it.
So that could be why.
Yeah. He's ranked 4th at 170. So let's see. I feel like Gallagher's going to win after watching Mastro and Gallagher. I watched a bunch of the Facundo matches, and the Gabe Arnold really kind of pushed Master Giovanni around, and with as physical as Gallagher is, I kind of think the same type of thing's going to happen. I guess going into it, I had not really focused on Travis Master Giovanni. I'd kind of seen him at tournaments and stuff. I thought he was a little more dynamic offensively. And after watching, a handful of matches, I wasn't really impressed with it. It's more he's got really good position. He's got high level defense. He scores sometimes, but he's not super dynamic. So I just, after watching both these guys, I feel like Gallagher's got the advantage.
I feel like hard pressure coming from Gallagher in his face. One errant shot, drag go behind for Gallagher is probably the difference. That's the way I see it going. I do think size will be a factor there. I think Mastro's going to have to be super select. I mean, Gallagher is waiting for the bad shot. He's waiting to snap down and run behind. He's got good leg attacks, but that's not the first thing he's looking for. He's looking for that easy one where he can just run behind you. So Master Giovanni's got to be super selective with his. Yeah,
I could really see. I think I can see Gallagher hitting a high crotch and scoring there. I think, and this is something I yell at my own kids about. So maybe Mastro's coach is yelling at, but I think he's a little too reliant on his shin whizzer. And I think like almost every time he went there against a high level guy, and I only watched him against really good guys. They all scored from that position. Whereas against other guys, he's probably effective, but then against the very best guys, he's not effective from that position.
Yeah, there are a couple guys with really good shin whizzers at who's number one. Jordan Titus. He's ridiculous with it. He has Jonesy's on like everyone. He has Jonesy tilt like really consistently. Someone else hits
including it. He hit it on Dean Peterson twice. And
twice.
Their match
2 times.
And their match at Super 32, and they're gonna, of course, hit again this weekend. So it'll be interesting to see if he's able to hit it again.
Yeah. I forget who else does.
If I was Dean Peterson's coach and he got to hit again, I'd make him walk home.
He's already down here, actually.
Figueroa's got a really good whizzer.
Yeah, sure was. Yeah, he does. What's he down there doing, Brett? Can he get some acclimatization or
Yeah,
what?
he came down
Oh, he's
early and
adjusting to the elevation.
I saw him working out at Mike Mao's place last night.
That's the 512 Outlaws. That's where Mike Mao coaches, where Caleb Davis Piles wrestles as well.
Nice.
He's wow. Caleb really threaded the needle here. I don't know if I talked about this yesterday, but Caleb is regrettably a baseball and an Astros fan, and but like he's obsessed. He watches every game. If we're driving around, he's hitting us all up constantly for updates on what the score is, etc. Okay, so the playoff games are being played at like 1 in the afternoon while he's at school. I am of the opinion that my son willed himself to illness so he could stay home because he woke up yesterday, he didn't feel great. Then by the end of the day, he had no fever. And then at the end of the day, 101 fever. And now in this day and age, you can't go to school with a fever.
Can't do that.
You can't risk it. Even if he woke up in the morning and was like didn't have a fever, he couldn't go. So he's not going to school today. He gets to stay home and he gets to watch the freaking Astros game. So he's a very honest kid. I don't think he can make himself sick, but
Were you around when he did the temperature?
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we know all the tricks. You can't trick the ear one. We got the automatic thing there. So yeah, but he's got to get all the tests. So now that he's out of school, he either has to be out 10 days, or he has to come back with a negative COVID test because he's actually going into in-person school.
So now he's got to go get tested?
Yeah. Lord, pray for my son. That is not gonna be fun for him.
Well, I when I got tested at the Cleveland Clinic, they don't do the jam up the nose one because my hip done. They had to test me. They just did a little swab gimmick.
I hope that's what they do.
Yeah, they said when I asked them, I said, oh my gosh, I thought you guys were gonna jam something up my nose, and they just swabbed around. And they said, nah, that's we're doing this more now. It's less painful, more effective, or something to that effect is what they told me. And that's obviously a preeminent healthcare facility in the country.
Yeah, well, we're just gonna take him there, I guess. We're gonna get him to the Cleveland Clinic for his COVID test. Might have his hip done too while we're there. Let's just make sure everything's good.
Just go ahead and get it taken care of.
Just get it taken care of now, and then he won't have to when he's older. Okay, so yeah. Hope the homie's all right. Okay. So you like Gallagher over Mastro?
Yeah. What do you like?
Yeah. I think size is a factor here. I think strength. I think it's not just like, he's coming up in weight. And I don't know how much Travis weighs. I feel like he's going to be lighter. And it's not just coming up, but you're coming up in weight against a guy that is freaking Shaq Diesel. This dude is jacked and strong and wrestles a strong style. So you're going to have to be really slick. And I think Mastro is like super very fundamentally sound wrestler, but I think he's gonna have his hands full with Gallagher, who's really good. And we'll see Gallagher back-to-back weeks, I guess. We'll see him at Senior Nationals.
Well, cool. Are you guys covering either the Fall Brawl or what's the other one that's going on this weekend? Grapple Fall Classic, because we got some serious wrestling now starting up. I mean, those are two they're not Super 32s, but they're relatively big tournaments.
We have Fall Brawl.
Okay.
You love the Grappler Fall Classic, though, right? That's the one in Michigan.
Well, I did love it when it was in Michigan. Now it's in freaking Myrtle Beach.
They went to Myrtle Beach.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So I don't love it anymore.
You're only going to Myrtle Beach once a year. That's the Ben Askren rule.
No, I'm not going. Well, I'm not going actually. Max and Tristan are going to coach.
You're not going to Super 32?
No.
Oh my god!
I'm going. I got assigned to club duels and preseason nationals. Max and Tristan are going to go to Super 32.
What do you mean you got assigned? You do the assigning. What are you talking about?
You're the boss, man.
Yeah. Well, me and Max go over the schedule, and I've been to Super 32 a whole bunch, and Tristan really wanted to go, and and Max wanted to go also. I don't think Max has ever been to Super 32. I don't know if he's experienced it. So
really,
those I don't think he has. Because last year I couldn't go because I was in Singapore. Coach Messenbrink went and Keegan went and helped out a little bit because he wrestled at Who's Number One and he didn't wrestle at Super 32. I don't think Max has ever been.
Is he going to challenge if anyone hits a fireman's on one of his kids? He's going to automatically challenge. Like that doesn't count.
He's going
to make the kid do push-ups.
He'll make him do push-ups.
That would be hilarious. All right, well, cool. Hey, what say we go to some questions? We have a bevy of them.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. CJ Kemp wants to know, will push-up bets be made on the Who's Number One matches? We could get more interesting with our wagers, but push-ups are probably always maybe that'll just be the thing. Maybe that'll be the theme for this year. It's just push-up bets.
And then Kyle Brecky won't do them.
He'll do them.
No, I'll do them.
He'll do them.
I always pay my bets.
This is he's a Lannister at heart.
Mm-hmm.
And CJ Kemp also says his favorite match will be the Mendez match solely because Indiana will be represented. So I guess CJ is from Indiana. That's what I'm gleaning there. But yeah, we'll make we should do have a push up. We should start now. We won't start with the last thing. We should start now and keep track of the push up bets. Or we could do this. We can make it more interesting. You could pay the debt right away, or you could let them accumulate and be like, no, you got to do them all at the end of whatever we want to say.
Well, if we're going back and forth though, Christian, so what would be amount of push-ups per wrong answer you get? Because it'll be really awkward because sometimes it'll be obviously there's 3 of us, so 2 of us have to choose one guy at least, right? If one's on the other side, or it's either 3-0.
No, here's how I think we do it. It's per event. So one of us will do the best for Who's Number One predictions. Okay. One of us will do second. One of us will do third, right? And maybe however you finish determines how many push-ups you have to do per event. Maybe it's 25 for second and 50 for third. Can you even do push-ups, Ben?
I crushed some push-ups. I did 250 the other day because it's about all I can do.
Dang.
Yeah.
All right, good.
I'm gonna start working out again soon. I'm getting.
Ben, what are you doing with the crutches? Are you still using them?
Yeah.
Oh no! Don't lie. Don't lie to America, Ben. You're gonna lose to the left.
The left loves lying. Don't worry about them.
Oh my gosh! I shouldn't have said that. I just thought that was a funny line.
It was a good line. Good line.
So you're really not. You're off the crutches. 3 weeks.
No, I'm using my crutches. It's been 4 weeks. 4 weeks yesterday. 4 weeks yesterday.
4 weeks yesterday. How are you improving mobility wise, walking wise?
Dude, I'm great. I have no pain. It's fantastic.
Really?
Listen, I told you guys that I had relatively bad back pain for, I don't know, a decade. And I just thought it was because I was a wrestler and my back's bad. And then I woke up the morning after my surgery and I got no back pain. And I thought, well, maybe it's because I'm on the pain pills, but I'm off the pain. I've been off the pain pills for 3 weeks. I was only on them for a week, and I got no back pain. It's fantastic. It's great.
That's amazing. Well, very good.
It seriously is.
Good job, Cleveland Clinic. That's why my son's gonna get his COVID test there. They are simply the best. Okay. What is Ben's favorite match of all time?
Meaning one that to watch or one that I've wrestled in?
That's a good question. Follow up to Trevor Brunson. What do you mean?
Or because obviously it's not fair. If I say not that I wrestled in, but that I watched, obviously there would be the ones that I was involved in where I'm coaching. Mark Ellis and Max Askren, and they win national titles. That right, those would be up there. If you're just saying from a strict spectator standpoint, because I love the sport of wrestling, then it would be something else.
Okay. Well, let's just do it. Let's just run the gamut. Favorite one you wrestled in? Probably, I'm guessing that would be Herbert, but maybe I'll be wrong. Favorite one
Herbert, or when I made Herbert, or when I made the Olympic team.
Yep.
Yeah.
Favorite one you were a part of, maybe that you coached.
Yeah, that would be the 2 that I mentioned.
Max
and Mark.
Okay. Were you in the corner for Max? You weren't on staff then.
I was not, because I was not on staff. I was Arizona. Yep.
Okay. And then, okay. This is a tougher one.
This is a way tougher one.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Probably when I made the Olympics, honestly.
No. Favorite one.
Favorite match.
Man,
Dang.
that is such a tough question. We should do this. We should assign this as homework, and maybe we can start the show with this tomorrow.
Let's do it.
And then go into our Who's Number One stuff.
Yeah, because I don't want to throw something out there, and then I said it, and then there's no takebacks on FRL. That's just the rule. So,
because surely you're going to say the first thing that comes to your mind, and then at 3 o'clock this afternoon, you're like, oh, what about that match? And then you're going to.
It's almost definitely going to be a Jordan Burroughs match, if I had to guess.
Well, I was thinking the one in 2012 when he beat Sargouche. That was pretty awesome.
I feel like 11 was even more epic. Like,
whoa. But I feel like the Olympics made it. Being at the Olympics, I just remember because we were watching it at my wrestling academy. We were in the middle of a camp session or something, and maybe we were on break and we had the matches on, and it was just a really awesome match. So I really remember that.
It was an awesome match. Oh my! But man, 11 was crazy because he straight up broke him.
Yeah,
dude, I remember in 2011 you couldn't watch it live. Like there was no live stream.
You could not.
So I said to wait for it to hit Flow. And then 12, I was teaching, but I couldn't watch it live either. But I was just like following. I was able to follow on my phone somehow or an iPad. I forget how, but I wasn't able to watch that one live either. Just crazy.
Yeah, I feel like Snyder over Sadulayev is kind of really high up there also. And it was, the build up to it. They're both 2 times that they both won in 15 and 16. The back-to-backs. I think Helen was a good one that was a really good one. Man, I think we should probably talk about it tomorrow though.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Final answer.
Yeah, and we need to rewatch them too. Whatever we come up with, and really, we won't be able to show them probably, but we can at least talk about them very vividly. Okay, there's more questions. Trevor Brunson got his money's worth. He asked like 5 questions here. The last 6 are ice cream related. Do you prefer ice cream in a bowl or a cone?
Well, I mostly eat it in a bowl because I mostly eat it from my house, but I suppose a cone would make it better.
Yeah, cones make it better. And if so, waffle or sugar, cake, or chocolate dip.
This guy
knows a lot. This guy works at Baskin Robbins, for sure. Trevor Brunson works at Baskin Robbins.
I suppose the best type of cone is a waffle cone. What do you guys think?
I would say waffle too.
I like a good waffle cone. For sure.
Nice.
I like the smell of the waffle cone maker. That thing, beautiful. Okay. Should the last 6 minutes of presidential debates be saved for a match between candidates? Yeah, that's from Coach Metz.
Sure.
At Shot Reshot. Why not? Trial by combat.
They're gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah, those guys. I don't know. It would not go well. We need some. Yeah. Well, what do you think other countries think about this? They're like, these are the best of America? It's not good.
Yeah, I mean, they will legitimately have a heart attack. My man Ron Paul, he had a stroke on air. He's back like 3 days later, ready to rumble.
Well, I don't know about rumble. I think he's ready to rumble, ready to talk on a Zoom call. If that's what we're reducing rumbling to now, yeah, sure, he's rumbling.
Ron Paul's a wrestler. He might come in here and whip your ass, CP.
I find that unlikely. Maybe in his heyday, but it's going to be pretty tough, even for someone of my low ability.
Yeah,
level.
he was a wrestler from, I think he was I don't remember what the weight class was in like 1947, but he was the lightest weight class, and he was the south of Pittsburgh. I can't remember what town exactly.
Dang, what a beast.
Yeah.
I'm sure in his day he'd lick me, but not anymore, Ron. Sorry. Greco-Roman Bravo Young wants to know what style whose number 1 matches are, and they were all folk style except for the women's matches. So all folk style. So no back and forth. We were talking about that. Did we talk about that on the show or before the show?
It was before, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was before.
So yeah, last year, who's number 1? We had like the number 1s got to pick the style. But I like just having it be one style. I wouldn't be opposed to it being all freestyle either. But it seems like when Who's Number 1 is in October, that's like the kickoff for folk style season. So it's probably time to do folk style. I'm sure Ben will appreciate that.
No, yeah, I like that folk style. Well, I was actually just thinking kind of like, well, could you guys do a freestyle one? And then I was thinking about the difficulty. Because obviously there are certain kids who are really good at freestyle who there just doesn't translate to folk style because they have a great gut wrench or front head pinch or whatever it is. And it's like, how difficult would it be for Flo to do a freestyle high school rankings and a folk style high school rankings. Well, you guys already do folk style, obviously. Well, I guess you don't define what style it is, so I'm just going to assume it's folk style. But to do two different ones would be very difficult.
Well, our rankings are hybrid of freestyle and folk style results, and I think they're weighed similar, equally, right? There's no precedent for a freestyle win over a folk style win or anything. It's like the recency matters, but I think they're not viewed with anyone having more importance for it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. No, I'm not gonna ask. Well, I like JB Colab, but this question is kind of crazy to me. It still seems to me like Gable, Spencer, Hall, and Valencia group of high school kids had more generational talent than our last few classes. I agree. But there are some studs currently. Having said that, how does high school Richie Figueroa do against high school Spencer Lee? I mean, this is not a ridiculous question.
Well, I can't find this. I'm trying to look at this question on the doc. I can't find it. Doesn't high school Richie Figueroa have some serious size advantage? Because wasn't Spencer Lee really small? I mean, he's still relatively small. Isn't he still way smaller in high school than Rich?
I think Richie's smaller than
Richie's smaller,
Spencer.
yeah.
Richie's
really? He's that small?
He's a 120. Spencer
Lee, like, as a grown man, weighs like 127.
He was 26 his senior year.
Yeah. He just wasn't cutting weight, or what?
Yeah, probably not a ton. I think 20 was a cut, so he didn't cut. Also, Gavin was 20, maybe. Might have been a factor. Might have been a team thing. But I would say size is not a factor. If anything, it would maybe a slight edge to Spencer. Maybe. But, man, I mean, high school, I mean, listen, we're talking about a junior world champ in high school, two-time cadet world champ. Yeah. It's Spencer, man. It's Spencer.
I would agree. I didn't realize Richie Figueroa, he lost one of the cadet trials finals matches to Jordan Williams. I didn't realize that until I went back and watched.
Yes. Yeah, I watched that one recently. Kind of a weird match, honestly. I thought Richie was better the whole time there, and then kind of thought there were a couple weird. There were some stoppages that I thought were just really questionable. Richie, listen, you get it on a single leg against Jordan Williams, you're not just going to finish, right? But he was working through the process of a finish, or at least progressing, and the ref blew it up at least twice in positions where Richie had opportunities to score. And in a 4-minute match, when you have to start over from that position, that's really tough. So, that's kind of my one memory of that match.
Yeah, and that's so I just watched it the other day, and I mean, obviously there are a few of those type of things, but number one, I feel like the 2-2-minute periods, I always just feel like they're just too short. Like that is like, for that age group of kids, that is such a short time window to wrestle. And then number two on that would be, I always can't stand how fast freestyle refs call stalemates. I feel like they're called so much quicker than folk style. And yes, against a good, to your point, against a good kid like Jordan Williams, you're not going to finish easy. It's going to take some time. You're going to have to work through it. And the freestyle refs always call it. So I didn't feel like those specific stalemates were on a line. I just feel like that's how it's called, and I don't really love it.
I feel like the problem is there's I don't think it's a freestyle folk style thing necessarily. I just think it's do you know what you're seeing thing problem. And I think you see that instance just a little more in freestyle officiating, personally. I think but at age level stuff, right? I don't think you see it as Final X World Team Trials. They're not stalemating Burroughs trying to finish on Dake there, or vice versa. But there's a lot of refs.
That's true.
You got 30 mats, right? You don't know exactly what you're seeing here. They think he's been on this leg for 10 seconds. It's time to put him back up. And if you don't know the match within the match and the positions and what's really happening there, it's easy to say nothing's happening when everything's happening. Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was just saying, you know what? When you said that, you're totally right, because I don't feel like at the senior level, I've felt like, oh my gosh, why'd they stop that? That wasn't time. But at the when I'm at UWW cadets or Fargo coaching, I feel like that happens all the time. So that was a good point.
Cool. And as far as like generational talents, man, Gable, Spencer, Hall, Valencia. I mean, you also got to remember Yanni, Dayton are in those classes as well.
Yes.
It was a crazy run of hammers, and I'm sure I'm probably leaving some out, but just those 6 guys are absolutely ridiculous. Soriano.
Sure. How did Richie do at Worlds? I mean, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Cadet World Silver.
And that was the only. He went one time.
I don't think he placed last year.
So he went twice. One time silver, one time didn't place.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, because I think for that group, that other group you're talking about, one of the biggest things for them is just the amount of hardware they brought home from the World Championships at the cadet and junior age level. I mean, we're talking between just Gable, Mark, and Spencer. How many world titles is that? 8 world titles while in high school.
Isn't it 9? It might be 9.
It's 3, 3, and 2, right?
Who has 2?
Mark. Mark has 3.
I thought he was a cadet world champion 2-time junior, or am I?
Mark has 3.
Yeah, Mark's got 3.
Mark has 3.
That's
Okay,
9.
so not 9, right?
Yeah.
Just between those 3, like that's. I mean, I feel like, so obviously if we go far enough back, America doesn't go, but besides that, that's relatively unheard of for American wrestling.
Yanni's got 2.
In that group, there's 11 now.
And honestly, with Yanni, he basically did not have a junior career, right? He went to Junior Open one time, lost to Deacon, was hurt, and didn't even wrestle at trials, and then next year won NCAAs, but his ACL was torn, so he didn't get to do anything then. And he would have gone seniors that year anyways. Remember, Zane was out that year. He would have tried to make the senior world. So he really just didn't have a junior career at all, and even still he had 2.
Even as a true sophomore, so he wrestled as a true freshman, true sophomore, and true sophomore was when he made Final X. I believe he was still junior eligible that year.
Very possible, yeah.
I think he was.
Yeah. Also, Kyle Snyder's another guy who he was winning senior world titles while junior eligible. He was junior eligible, I know, in 15. I don't think he was in 16 when he won the Olympics.
Yeah.
But he might have been. He might have been. He was 20 when he won the Olympics, right?
Yeah, I mean, so the USA Wrestling / UWW goes by the year you're born in. So it would matter, like, do you turn, I guess, when is his birthday? Is it, because if it's in that calendar year, then you're the age group up.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? You are essentially whatever you are, whatever you are during whatever year I turned during the year 2020. That's what I am.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So Richie was second, and then he was 16th the next year. And then we were talking about Mark Hall. So he won a cadet world title in 15. Was on the then made 3 straight. Or 14, and then made 3 straight junior world teams. He was 9th, then first.
Wow.
His first junior world title was the crazy one, I think, against Suleimanov, the really dirty Azeri guy, if I'm remembering correctly. He tried the handshake, and then it was all kinds of
he was pulling his singlet and stuff.
Yeah, big time. It was like a very international wrestling experience for Mark. Okay.
Yeah, that's what you gotta expect from some of those guys.
Yeah, no kidding. Everyone is asking how LeBron James would do in fights against MMA people. Matt Awareness Podcast wants to know about LeBron James versus Dylan Dennis. I just think this is a really strange question. I don't really understand.
I don't get it either. LeBron would be
fighter.
He's a terrible fighter.
Yeah, he's not gonna know how to fight. He's just gonna get taken down and probably choked out or something. I know he's big.
I mean, even someone like if you guys remember all the way back, James Toney, who was very literally a world champion boxer. He can fight, he could box, but he couldn't fight. Randy took him down and choked him in like a minute. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was
yeah, he just had like this like terrible looking single
bad
leg
low
on him.
single. He had no idea what to do, and then he just got on top and choked him. That was really fun. Yeah. So, and I mean, at least boxing is a combat sport. It's like he plays basketball. He's gonna lose a fight.
Yeah, the guy who wrestled when he was younger and jiu-jitsu and now fighting, who's done combat sports his entire life.
He's gonna beat him.
Come on,
Ben loves
ridiculous.
Dylan Dennis, though.
Ask and listen. Just Matt Awareness? Why did you put his name in there? Put anybody else in there, and my answer's still the other. Put any wrestler. Let's say Evan Wick, Ryan Deacon, Hayden Hidlay. I'm just looking at 74 kg, right?
Yeah.
All those guys beat LeBron James up. Every one of them, easy.
Yeah. They're just gonna take him down and
punch
I know
him.
he's big. I know
It's
he's big
over.
and strong, but
He's got no sprawl, none.
Okay. I have a good question here that I'm curious for. I think I have an idea, but I'm curious what you say, Ben. What type of wrestler was John Jones, and how could he have been if he stuck with wrestling?
I mean, I don't remember what type. You know, I mean, he was good, obviously, right? So we talked about how he did in that bracket. I believe he won the JUCO national title the following year. And then, you know, so the way it usually goes there is there's 2 years. You have to do 2 years at a JUCO if you're a non-qualifier. Usually the first year they wrestle. Ideally they do well. Then they take a red shirt the next year while they're trying to find their next college. And then they would go to a D1. I believe he was going to go to Iowa State, if I remember correctly.
Yes, according to Sion, that's true.
I believe that's true. And then I think, which is funny because then they would have Jake Varner at that similar, you know, what I said also. But yeah, and then he would go on to fight. So I think he could have been really well. I think he could have, you know, competed with that era would be, you know, Brester, Jake Varner, Max Askren, those type of guys. Yeah, he could have competed for sure.
Yeah, when watching the matches that were on YouTube of him, which is, you know, maybe that's not representative. He wasn't like blowing people out of the water type. He was like pretty controlled, really good position, so hard to score on type of guy. He wasn't like, which is interesting because in fighting he just, you know, destroys people, but he wasn't like a you know, a run you over.
Well, I would actually say Christian in fighting, he's more controlled, strategic. You know, he's not like you think of like a Anthony Johnson or someone like that who knocks people out. That's not really John. John doesn't really have a lot of just like, you know, one punch knockout type power. He's more, you know, great with positioning, doesn't get hit a lot, really good defense, good strategy. So yeah, I think that kind of transfers for him.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. Well, I don't see any others. I think it's probably a fine time to call it a day. We're going to have we're going to give you 15 minutes to start, Metcalf. It's 28 minutes long, this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot that much time. And yeah, we'll get the heck out of here. We'll be back tomorrow. Full Who's Number One breakdown, predictions, push-up bets will be made and paid. Maybe paid at the event. Who knows?
Oh, no, make it pay on air before we do our picks tomorrow. Get that table set up. Clear the table off.
I'm not doing push-ups on the table.
He won't do push-ups on the table, not if there's a fire.
Not even if there's a fire.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks so much for listening. We'll be back tomorrow. I hope you have a great Wednesday. We get tacos today.
Heck yeah.
And breaking news from my wife, Caleb will have the mouth swab test. So good for him. He won't get a stick jammed up his nose. Wow, this Wednesday's off to a great start. Hope your Wednesday's great as well. Thanks again. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Peace.